Everywhere we look, from the silver screen to the glowing screens in our hands, love is celebrated. It's the grand narrative of our time. Movies, songs, novels, and endless social media reels, they all weave the same enchanting tale, a story of perfect, effortless, all-consuming romance. We are sold the idea of a happily ever after that arrives like a thunderbolt, a destiny fulfilled. But if this story is so universal, why does it feel so distant from our reality? Here's the truth most people feel but don't admit. Real relationships, the ones lived out in the quiet moments between the highlight reels, don't seem to last the way they used to. There's a fragility to modern love that feels new and deeply unsettling. Why? Why do so many relationships that start with such dazzling beauty, like a firework lighting up the night sky, so often fizzle out into painful silence? Why does something that begins with the promise of forever so often end with the finality of heartbreak? Pause. Let it sink in. The answers aren't simple, but they are closer than we think. They lie hidden in the space between the world we are shown and the world we actually live in. Gentle, explaining, a little sad. First, let's talk about the weight of our expectations. For generations, we've been fed the soulmate myth, the idea that there is one perfect person out there, pre-made just for us, our other half, the one who will complete us. Movies show us this perfect love. Social media bombards us with images of perfect couples on perfect vacations with perfect smiles. But real life? It isn't a curated feed. It isn't a 2-hour film with a guaranteed happy ending. In reality, love isn't a destination you arrive at. It's a garden you must tend to every single day. It isn't just constant smiles, exotic trips, and grand romantic gestures. It's navigating bills when money is tight. It's managing responsibilities when you're both exhausted. It's understanding each other's mood swings, anxieties, and bad days. It's the difficult, unglamorous, and profoundly important work of choosing to love someone even when they are not their best self. Yet we enter relationships expecting happiness without effort. We demand passion without practicing patience. We expect our partner to be a mind reader who knows our needs without us speaking them, a therapist who can heal our past wounds, a best friend who shares all our interests, and a cheerleader who constantly boosts our ego, all in one. We hand them an impossible job description without ever telling them they've been hired. And when reality inevitably fails to match this impossible fantasy, the first thought isn't, how can we work on this? It's, maybe I chose the wrong person. Pause, softer tone. But the truth is, love was never about finding a perfect person. It has always been about choosing an imperfect person and committing to build a strong, resilient, and beautiful life together, not in spite of your imperfections, but because of them. Frustrated but relatable. Second, we are drowning in distractions. We live in a world of infinite options where temptation is always just one swipe away. Dating apps, Instagram DMs, the constant flickering promise of something new, something better. This creates what psychologists call the paradox of choice. We think more options will make us happier, but they often lead to paralysis and dissatisfaction. Every potential match is a ghost of a different life we could be living, making it harder to be content with the life we already have. This constant exposure to a seemingly endless supply of potential partners creates a deep and corrosive insecurity. You start thinking, what if my partner finds someone more attractive, more successful, more interesting? Or worse, a more insidious thought creeps in. Maybe deserve someone better. This mindset is the silent killer of commitment. It turns partnership into a consumer activity. We're always window shopping, even when we're in a relationship. And instead of watering the garden we have already planted, we spend all our time and energy looking over the fence at someone else's garden, convincing ourselves the grass must be greener there. Pause, softer tone. But the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. Disappointed, reflective. Third, our communication is breaking down. In an age of hyperconnectivity, we are more disconnected than ever. Couples today talk a lot, but they say very little of substance. We send memes and emojis. We like each other's posts. We text throughout the day, a constant stream of logistical updates and surface-level chatter. But how often do we sit down, put our devices away, look each other in the eye and ask, how are you really? What's on your mind? What are you afraid of right now? This lack of genuine, vulnerable communication creates a breeding ground for resentment. Small misunderstandings left unaddressed pile up like stones in a backpack, weighing the relationship down. Tiny complaints, swallowed in silence, grow into huge, explosive fights about everything and nothing. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, silence replaces conversation. The space between two people, once filled with laughter and intimacy, becomes an empty, echoing void. And by the time people realize the depth of the chasm between them, it often feels too late. The bond, starved of real connection, has broken. Compassionate, heart-touching, slow, lower pitch. And let's not forget the silent struggles we all carry. In today's world, the pressure is immense. Mental health challenges like anxiety and depression are on the rise. We face relentless career pressure, financial stress, and complex family responsibilities. We are all carrying invisible burdens, and all of these stresses inevitably spill into our relationships. But instead of opening up and using the relationship as a safe harbor, many of us hide our pain. We've been taught to perform strength, to always be okay. We smile in the selfies, we laugh at the parties, we say, "I'm fine," when we're anything but. But inside, we're breaking. And when you have two people in a relationship, both performing, both hiding their struggles, both feeling fundamentally unseen and unheard by the person who is supposed to know them best, love doesn't stand a chance. It slowly, quietly fades from starvation. Hopeful, motivating, warm. So what is the way forward? How do we protect love in this chaotic modern world? It's not about finding a secret formula, it's about returning to fundamental principles. First, redefine success. Shift your goal from perfection to progress. A strong relationship is not built on a highlight reel of flawless moments, it's built on the consistent daily effort to understand, forgive, and support one another. Expect effort, not perfection, from your partner and from yourself. Celebrate the small acts of kindness, the coffee made just the way they like it, the 5 minutes of listening after a hard day, the simple, "I'm on your team." Second, practice intentional connection. Put the phone away. Create sacred tech-free spaces for your relationship. Have dinner with no screens. Go for a walk with no headphones. Schedule a weekly State of the Union meeting where you can both share what's going well, what's been challenging, and what you need from each other. No amount of texts or likes can replace the healing power of one honest, focused, face-to-face conversation. Third, learn to fight constructively. Disagreements are not a sign of failure, they are a sign that two different people are trying to build a life together. The goal isn't to avoid conflict, but to handle it with respect. Attack the problem, not the person. Listen to understand, not just to reply. It's okay to take a time out to cool down. A healthy fight can bring you closer, clearing the air and strengthening your bond. And finally, build a deep friendship at the core of your love. Passion is a fire that can burn bright and hot, but it will ebb and flow. Physical looks will change over time, but true friendship, a foundation of shared humor, mutual respect, and genuine enjoyment of each other's company, that is the bedrock. That is what stays. And it's that friendship that keeps two people holding hands and facing the world together long after the initial infatuation has faded. Strong, emotional, reassuring, slow pauses. At the end of the day, relationships don't fail because love is missing. Love is often the last thing to go. They fail because patience is missing, because empathy is missing, because the courage to be vulnerable is missing, because commitment as a daily practice is missing. So stop searching for the perfect person who will solve all your problems. That person doesn't exist. Instead, focus on the right person. Start building with the imperfect, messy, wonderful human you already love. Love is not something you find. It is something you build. It's a choice you make when you wake up in the morning, and a choice you remake 100 times a day. Remember, anyone can say "I love you" at the start, when the story is new and exciting. But only the ones who show up, who put in the work, who choose forgiveness over pride and connection over convenience every single day, can say "I still love you" at the end. Pause, softer, almost a whisper. Don't just fall in love. Choose to stay in love. Choose to build it. The greatest love stories aren't the ones we see on screen. They are the quiet, unseen ones, written every day through small acts of courage, forgiveness, and choice. Go write yours.